there are a lot of YouTubers that have been analyzing modern Gen Z dating. There have been a lot of memes and jokes about how it's impossible to date as someone who's Gen Z. With these dating apps and combined with feminism, you have women who can get an abortion whenever they want and sure, whatever. So that means they can work their job, hook up with any guy they want, have zero risk for having any kids. And that means they're going to go on apps. These women on apps like Tinder or whatever get inundated with messages. The two realities are men will swipe on every single woman, and any opportunity they get, they will send a message. Women will swipe on the guys they like and then get instantly messaged by all of them and then scroll through their messages and choose who they want to go hook up with. The guy who succeeds in this regard doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't need merit. He doesn't do whatever. If he gets picked, he gets picked. So a lot of guys who are on the average to lower end of the spectrum just abandon it. They give up. They're like, I can't succeed. This doesn't work. And they become angry. They go online and they lose motivation. There's a lot of guys who are either high testosterone, naturally driven, successful. They're hooking up with all the women. It is, I think, what is it? 20% of men are the ones hooking up with majority of the women, which is very animalistic if you ask me. And then if you look at the response curve on dating apps, women view, men have a natural bell curve for female attractiveness. The ugliest woman is here, the average woman is here, and the most attractive is here. And then when you look at how women rate men, 80% of men are rated unattractive, and only the top 20% are considered to be average or good looking. So it is very few guys that are succeeding. And then there's a large amount of men that are not succeeding and have given up entirely. And it's created this, I don't know, broken system. There used to be, and I'm not saying it should be that way, I'm just describing what it is. Women are independent. They can make their own money. They don't have any risk of having a family. Back before birth control and abortion, if a woman decided to hook up with a guy and she got pregnant, she better make sure that guy could take care of her because she was in trouble. That's what life was for the entire humanity. Now it's not. Now she can go to a Planned Parenthood and they'll do it for free or whatever, or for a minor fee. And then she'll drag the guy and make him pay for half, and it's all taken care of.
You said, Joel, what you were saying about the phone and how this distracts people from relationships. Dude, that's so poignant. Like, it's like a mental teleporter that you can get your porn on, and like when you're swiping on the dating apps, it's like, I want to get that item. I want that item. I want that item. Like
That's another good point.
If they like you, it's like you win just because they liked you. It's like that doesn't mean anything.
Before all of this mass media technology, when a guy had a biological drive, he's like, I got to find a lady, and he's going to go to a bar. And the woman's going to be like, I'm not hooking up with you because what if you're a deadbeat and I end up with a kid? And things changed. Now, the guys who can't succeed in the dating world are just doing the weird AI girlfriend garbage.
And then if you're dietarily poisoned, literally with like phthalates and whatever God knows is in the fake food supply, your motivation is screwed. So like if you're stuck in the teleporter, the phone, and then you have the bad foods, it's like damn near impossible to get out of bed in the morning. It's like hard to get off the computer. I've noticed it personally. But man, when you start eating healthy and working out, and like you don't really need the TV as much.
It's exponential. It is extremely hard to go from an out of shape sedentary life into a healthy and productive life. It's a challenge, but once you get there, you're a snowball rolling down a hill, and it's easier to maintain.
Your sperm is probably more healthy, which is why you're aggravated to go find a woman. Like it's all like part of the cycle of continuity. I imagine.
There's another big component that rates of erectile dysfunction are through the roof because of pornography, rotting dudes' brains.
Oh man, there's ads on porn for ED medicine. It's very sad to watch.
This modern society is sick and it's completely broken. I believe the largest component of it is feminism. That is not to. I'm not disparaging feminism. I am making a point. So long as feminism exists as a cultural movement, you are not going to have a family drive because women are the driver for family.
And that's the no-fault divorce. I would say I used to blame that as the reason why men aren't getting married, but I think it's more that they're afraid. And why are they afraid? Because they have low self-esteem. Why? Because they're stuck in the machine and they're eating crap. Your self-esteem goes through the fucking roof when you start working out and eating healthy and looking around your environment and taking care of your environment. So and it's like I've known people that got married all through the age of no-fault divorce, and they're totally happy and have great families. I know lots of my friends are married with kids.
But the fear with no-fault divorce is not that they'll get rejected or something. It's that a guy will find a woman and she'll take his children from him.
It's not the no-fault divorce itself. It's the fear of the no-fault divorce that's driving it. And that fear has spiked in the last 16 years or so.
Torturers learned this a long time ago. The fear of pain is more powerful as a driver than the pain itself. Once you subject the victim to pain, they try to tolerate it. But if they fear the pain is coming, they can break. So it is the fear that a guy will get married and he'll lose everything and he'll lose his kids and he'll end up like Milhouse is dead in The Simpsons, sleeping in a bachelor apartment complex in a race car. That terrifies these guys, and they're like, I want to stay away from that. Then you have these guys who have the MGTOW, men going their own way, who many of them, it's actually fascinating because it started with guys who ended up getting divorced and losing their families, said, I'm going to just, be myself and be independent. And then younger guys who never had that started talking about how they would go their own way as well. I think the simple version of it is mass media technology, pornography has fried people's brains. Dating apps have made it impossible for a large portion of guys. And women are no longer being that principal cultural driver of having a family.
And diet. I throw diet in there too, because the poison will just destroy your will to live. If you don't have a reason for being, good luck finding a wife. Like that's part of your that supports your reason. It's like I will live under a bridge if I'm serving my purpose in the process. But if I have no process, I don't want to live under a bridge. I want comfort.
Why?
Living under the bridge is the marriage in this metaphor because it's a challenge.
When the incel thing got really big in the media 6-7 years ago, there was this guy who did an interview. Actually, it was like 10 years ago. And he was like a regular guy. He's like totally average guy. And he was saying he was an incel or whatever. And everybody on the internet was commenting like, huh? Like, this just looks like a normal dude. Why? What's his problem? His problem was he didn't know how to socialize. And so he internalized all these issues. What are these guys going to do? They're going to go into virtual reality. It's just easier. Virtual reality where you can talk to your chat GPT, like the movie Her or whatever, and fall in love with the avatar woman.
Yeah, I just saw
ads
for AI girlfriends on the porn sites.
Yep. And they got haptic feedback bodysuits. And then Neuralink's going to come out with read-write capabilities. And these guys are going to be like, don't care, plug me until I die. That's the end.
It could just be the evolution of the species is that the weak among us must go and the strong will stay and repopulate.
There it is.
But maybe not. Maybe we can strengthen the weak. And
Joel's flipping through his book. I feel like he's about to give us some hypothesis.
I've got some stuff on family here, and I talk a little bit about exploring family leave and that sort of thing, and I talked about some of the regulatory changes. But I also think that there needs to be a positive component, and telling people that family is fun, giving people positive examples of...
Somebody's got to rebrand having a family.
Yeah, look, I'm very fortunate. I married an incredible woman. I feel like if people could understand how much fun marriage is, yes, it's challenging. Yes, kids are challenging. I was going to tell you before when you were saying, why do people only have one child? The first one is the toughest one. Maybe after one, it's a little hard to keep going. But I think marriage is fun. I think it's sexy. I think that people need to get excited about it again. And we know everything now. We can see everything. We're overexposed to sex and that sort of thing. So it is a challenge to come up with a way of making marriage mysterious and intriguing again. But I think we can do it. I think there is a counterculture that we can create. And I do think that the White House can actually lead in some ways, not just on family, but also on faith. We have a First Amendment, and Congress can't make laws respecting religion, but the president can put the pulpit in the bully pulpit and start talking about faith, and Trump does. But
this is what I want Melania to do. I want her to retire, be best, and just do family first. And whether that's
awesome.
Religious.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. If you meet her, let her know. I've got a lot of ideas for her. No, but I really think that she should just be sort of a representation of marriage and family and why it's good. She's obviously so devoted to her son, and I think a lot of people need to hear the antidote to these stories, which is I want to be childless and kids are annoying and I regret them. I think there are way more people who are grateful that they have families or even conceptual or whatever it is that they are deeply involved with that give purpose and meaning and direction and not to steal Kamala Harris's word, but a joy to life that there's kind of no equivalent to.
The movie American Beauty, which is a great movie, had all these Oscar nominations. And I remember watching the Oscars that year, and the one person who didn't win was Annette Bening, and she played the mom. And we've had a culture that for too long, I think, has denigrated moms. And maybe that's because all the Hollywood writers are guys who resent their moms, or they're working out their issues or whatever. But we haven't really celebrated that as a culture. We haven't in a long time. And so I do think there's a positive component to this that we can do. Again, hard for government to lead the way. When you're told to be joyful, it's hard to be joyful. But I do think there are ways in which we can have people lead. Melania would be amazing.
So would Ivanka.
Family first.
Ivanka.
Family first.
I agree with the moms, because like I went through a phase where I was angry at my mom for fucking up, for screwing up so many times.
Like we all do.
And then I realized, like, yo, she's just a dude. She's just a person that screwed up a little bit, like sometimes, but also was so awesome in a lot of ways. And I got past that, like,
I think it's part of
frustration.
growing up, right? Becoming an adult and realizing like your parents are actually deeply human, and they're probably struggling with all kinds of stuff that you couldn't see or appreciate as a kid. I'm sure there were challenges and things that like she regrets and you wish had gone differently, but ultimately, you know, you want to be able to have a forgiveness where you're like, you did in a lot of ways the best you could, or at least you tried, because I think most parents do.
Yeah.
So much of culture right now talks about, you know, parents who are there are parents who are neglectful, people who have children who don't appreciate the position and the opportunity they have with them. But for the most part, and I like what Joel was saying, you know, having a family is cool, and we should all want to do it because it's good.
My family was great. It was fun, like with the TV on, playing with like Legos with the brothers, and then like.
Do you ever read anything by David Sedaris, the short story author?
Yeah.
Okay, he's one of my favorites, but he talks about, and his sister Amy Sedaris is, you know, a successful actress, and they had, I think it's like 6 kids in their family, or several. And he has a line where he talks about, we felt like we were the coolest club on the planet, and we didn't understand why people didn't want to be a part of it, even though they're sort of this eccentric family. And I think I wish that more people looked at their own nuclear family, the one they grew up in, but also the family they could create as this cool club that you get exclusive membership to.
I think he called his dad the Rooster.
His brother.
His brother, yeah.
Called himself the Rooster. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that there's something beautiful about family. And I think the problem is, and this is where J.D. Vance runs into trouble, when you do talk about family, or you hear conservatives talk about family, they can sound didactic. Like, you should have a family that looks like my family. Look at this wonderful family. And he does have a wonderful family. And I think that bothers people, even people who want to have that family, because it's not easy to do. Meeting the right person is really hard. And I think people feel talked down to a little bit. And I think that J.D. Vance, before he became a politician and had to be accountable to people, did say a few things that, if you take them in the wrong context, could look like he's telling you, you have to have this kind of family and you should be more like me. And nobody wants to hear that from anybody. So there's got to be a way of doing it that celebrates the great stuff that family can bring to people without making you feel bad if your family's unconventional, if you call your brother the Rooster, or if you have divorce or whatever in your family, like so many of us do. I mean, all families have problems. It's not having a perfect family. It's just having a
support system.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.